Alright, welcome back to the channel everyone. This is Acro coming back once again with another video for you of the Acro Yoga life. So today I'm working with a few different flyers in these videos. These were a couple of moves that I've been working on. Right here you can see I'm going into a shoulder stand, and this is a Catherine's wheel variation from Catherine's wheel to a bird on hands positioning. And this was actually a move that it's kind of it's one that you do after you've gotten Catherine's wheel down already. So Catherine's wheel coming into a shoulder stand. Notice the stack here. Stack is good. Okay, I'm bringing my feet behind the hips. Okay, boom, rotating into bird on hands. It's a pretty fun move. So I had quite a few flyers. Once I had gotten this move down, there was a lot of people that wanted to work on it with me. So from there, it's a fun move. Max and Liz, shout out to Max and Liz teaching class when we were going through class. So Max and Liz are freaking awesome. Love them. And it looks like we are working one-on-one. Oh, by the way, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I hope y'all are liking these acro videos. I do plan to do better acro videos in the future, but as the channel starts to grow, I just kind of wanted to take off in a certain stance right now. So I'm just kind of pushing content out as I proceed. And then later on, we will move into more advanced tutorial videos and probably better production as well. But for right now, just kind of pushing content out there for everyone. So go ahead and subscribe, like the video, comment down below. Tell me if you're interested in acro, or if you already do acro, how long you've been doing acro for, and y'all can communicate with me there. So right now, I think I'm just kind of flowing with one of the flyers right now. Looks like I'm going into a side star positioning here. And these are this is a fun move I think we're about to do. I think we're gonna go into we're probably gonna do the Catherine's hands to bird on hands, or Catherine's wheel to bird on hands. So let's see what happens here. Had a good session today. Usually I practice probably about 3 or 4 times out of the week. If it's a really good week, probably 4, but more than likely it's hit or miss 2 or 3 times out of the week that I'll practice, and we get some pretty good jam sessions in over here. So I tend to have, our jam sessions probably last maybe anywhere from 4 to 5 hours. I mean, they can go all day, all night, It's just a lot of fun whenever you have these kind of people out at the jams. So right here I'm kind of doing a stretch with the flyer, kind of a shoulder opener, some Thai massage therapeutics that are involved here, it's super fun. I mean, it's kind of, Thai massage is part of acro. It should always, be incorporated in the acro world too. It's interesting because I notice a lot of the times we don't really have time to practice any of the yin part of acrobatics, but it's an I feel like it's kind of like an undervalued practice, because some of the Thai massage moves are pretty difficult, and if you've never taken a workshop on it, I highly encourage it. But at the same time, you're also going to learn a lot more than what you think you know in a Thai massage workshop. So I've taken a couple here and there. There's flying therapeutics, there's Thai massage, partner stretching, but those are all pretty much variations of what yin acrobatic or acro yoga could be. And what we practice more here during our jam sessions is more of the yang style of acro yoga, which is more the high energy, all engaged, core engaged, push through kind of muscling style of acro yoga. So that is more the yang style of acro yoga indeed. But it's also the more flashy style as well. The therapeutics are fun, but it helps to have at least a little bit of like workshop practice under your belt whenever you're doing some of the therapeutics, because it's a lot different than just regular massage. It's like Thai massage, when it comes to acro yoga, is very full body encompassing. So right here we're practicing some straddle bats to side star, some TikToks here. Very good TikToks and side stars that are happening as well. Good stuff. So a couple of the other videos that I had posted before this were with flyers that really haven't done too much acro before. This flyer has done quite a bit of acro before. I think she had done some college cheerleading as well, and so she knows body awareness, and that's one of the main things that you discover when you start to go into your acro journey, is that you have to have quite a bit of body awareness and knowing like what muscles are engaging at what different times, and pointing the toes. There's just a lot of different things that come with that body awareness. That's understanding muscle movement in general, or just how your body functions, right? Because everybody moves differently. Everybody has a different body structure. So when you start to become more of a saturated acro yoga practitioner, you'll understand the way that the body moves, the way that your partner moves, the way different people move in general, and the way that everyone's body structure is a little bit different, and you have to just kind of be accommodating to some of those different styles of, or different body structures and different types of people pretty much that you work with, and learn to adjust and adapt. So very cool. So we're hanging out here in Straddlebat. We were doing some ninja stars there, but the ninja stars look solid. I mean, this flyer is like freaking awesome. I practice with her every once in a while. Like, she's super fun to practice with, and I always look forward to her being at some of the jams whenever she can get a chance to go. She's not there all the time, so I don't get a chance to practice with her a lot, but she's kind of one of those that just like hybrids her way through it and picks up things very easily, and also a very strong flyer at that. Like, it's always good to have a strong flyer for sure. So but that comes with body awareness. I mean, that just comes with practice, and you can't get discouraged if you are not strong in some areas. There's some areas that I'm not strong in whatsoever. Like, I'm still working on hand-to-hands, and actually, last time I practiced with this flyer, like, we were actually able to hold a hand-to-hand for like maybe like 4 or 5 seconds, which was a huge accomplishment for me. So there's things that I still personally don't have down, just yet, but I am pushing myself forward, and I don't give up, and it's interesting because there's a lot of people that get discouraged in acro just because they can't do a move or something like that, and they totally just give up, or they like never come back or whatever, and it's kind of sad to see that sometimes, because I mean, I remember starting out and not knowing exactly like what I was doing, and it was, learning that I had a lot to learn, and that's really what it is. People, think that they are, the strongest, baddest, biggest, whatever. They can lift the most weights, and they're the most flexible, or this and that. Well, hey, acro's a lot different than that. I can tell you, as someone that does hit the gym quite a bit, that even though acro requires you to be strong in some stances, I always tell newer bases, when you first start acroing, acro is literally 80 to 90% technique, and the rest is strength. So I do hit the gym pretty regularly, but that is just to maintain the vehicle that I am in right now, and then acro is just that way to kind of show more of what I like to do, and the way I like to stay fit is to gym and acro, and I feel like I progress because I do hit the gym here and there every once in a while too, and I take yoga classes, and um, yoga has been a major part of my journey through life and body awareness and learning where I need to grow in certain parts of my body as well too. But we'll have big bodybuilders that come in to some of our acro classes, and they're like, oh, this, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but their hamstrings aren't open enough for L basing, and their knees are bent the whole time, and they're trying to muscle through everything, and you see that their bone stacking is not proportional, and then it's just like, oh, okay, well, you can either say, oh, well, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be because, like, I'm not good at it or whatever. Or you can be like, dang, this is like something a lot different than what I expected it to be, but it pushes myself and my body in a different manner to where it's like learning something brand new. And that's ultimately how you have to go in here. You have to go in here, with very open-mindedness, especially when first starting out. Obviously, once you get a little bit better, ego can kind of kick in every once in a while, but at the same time, it's because we put in the dedication and we put in the hours, we put in the effort. And right now we have someone visiting our community from an even bigger community, and he's bringing a lot of good tips and things to help our community grow. And he's put in quite a few hours to practice acro, and there's moves that he has down that I don't have down, and that I'm willing to learn. But that's just because you put in that effort, you put in that skill to learn this stuff, so you can't be discouraged if you're not good at it. But it's just understanding that this is like a hobby, just like anything else you pick up. You have to put in the practice to get better at it. So right here I'm practicing Big Lemoy, and I was practicing to go into bird on hands. It looks like we're trying to get there, but we didn't. Oh, and we kind of made it there. So this is just kind of the prep for it, for Big Lemoy to bird on hands. What y'all saw in the beginning of the video, and working with this flyer now on it. So I'm kind of a theorist when it comes to like acro yoga sometimes, but also like you have to understand the mechanics, and I get very technical when I teach acro sometimes too. I prefer to teach one-on-one or to teach like partners or something that want to get better at something, and it's really just like kind of letting go of the ego a little bit too when you're working with people, and also making sure that those people are comfortable with kind of letting go of ego for a little bit, because there's going to be some moves that take longer than other moves to get down, and if you don't get it down right away, well, hey, like, it's something to work on and you have to come back to it later on. So here, working that same positioning to bird on hands, and it looks like we got it down pretty well there. So the thing with this one is that the flyer has to kind of straddle their legs out to clear the ground, and sometimes I notice that the flyer straddle is not wide enough for them to clear the ground just quite yet. So that's one thing that you have to kind of tell the flyer is like, okay, the wider you straddle, you'll clear the ground a little bit better. Because sometimes when you come straight into this, like, the flyer's feet hit the ground and they're like, where do I go? Well, okay, yeah, it's because you need to straddle out just a little bit wider to clear the ground. But then you're right back on the hands. So yeah, man, and you're gonna learn different group dynamics, different people dynamics every time that you go to one of these jams and stuff, and it's always fun. It's always, good people that are there to put in the effort to learn, and you'll get some of the newer people in, and even some of the flyers, they feel discouraged because they see other flyers that got moves down or whatever. But hey, like, find someone that's willing to practice and let them know that you are interested and that you're dedicated to this type of thing, you know, and that'll just like make them feel like, you know, oh well, like I'm spreading the knowledge of acro and the sense of like community and communication and trust and all these different key elements that go into acro yoga in general. So we all can learn from each other. So that is one way to keep kind of like an open mind when you are practicing. And I'm trying to think. Oh, okay, so here we're going into a mermaid or a back to bird on hand. So this one's kind of fun to do. Usually I have them go back to bird on feet here, or we can do a swimming mermaid. But here it looks like we're going to go back into bird on feet. And so what happens is the flyer tucks her knees into her chest, but she should be more of an L sit right now. She's kind of got her hips raised, but her hips should actually be piked a little bit more into like a 90-degree angle. So then I push from the sacrum back up into bird, and then she brings my feet to her hips. We couldn't save it that time, but it's a pretty fun one. It's one that newer flyers can definitely get down. Their hands sometimes get stuck, but it's really just once the hands are there, they can kind of just squeeze their fingers out as well. So let's see, I think I'm kind of describing it here a little bit too. It's interesting because a lot of people that come to acro, sometimes they do have a little bit of foreground knowledge of just movements in general, different types of like movements that they've been involved in, whether it's yoga, whether it's dance, whether it's gymnasts, you know, weightlifters. We kind of get that kind of group of people that come into jams or classes every once in a while too. So I feel like it's kind of another outlet for people if they're getting stuck in a movement, because I have done yoga for a while now, and then from yoga I was like, well, you know, I feel flexible and stretchy enough now, like, but I feel like I want to do something just a little bit more like flashier, I guess you could say. I don't like, it was like I want to push my body a little bit more, you know. And I think like yoga kind of does that. It really just like kind of pushes your body for you, and any physical activity will do that, right? But I think what for me it was like, well, yoga can like really push my body to a certain extent. So what else is my body capable of that I just don't know just yet, you know, because I've never really pushed it that much. I, you know, was involved with like soccer and like running when I was younger, but then I discovered yoga, and I'm like, oh, well, this kind of is like a, you know, mind over matter kind of thing. So then I decided to like get into like parkour, and I was doing a little bit of parkour for a while, learning different flips and tricks and like kongs and stuff like that off of you know, the vaults and stuff. So that was like the next part of the journey was, okay, well, in yoga, like there was always like a little bit of a community there too. And then like parkour, like a lot of those people were just really good. Some of like, you know, and I had like just like started to get into movements and stuff, and I was learning through group exercise classes about yoga and, you know, some like tai chi and stuff like that, but nothing like super extreme like doing flips in the air. So parkour was like, you know, pushing it pretty extreme, right? And I had some like sprained ankles and, you know, some hurt shoulders and stuff like that too from doing some of the parkour stuff. I never really took it like, I would always pretty much just like stay indoors practicing, you know, and especially with like friends and stuff. I'd go out, you know, to like concrete like school campuses and stuff, like college campuses, and, you know, do stuff out there. I wouldn't get like too crazy with it or anything. And then after that, like I just kind of didn't feel like my body was that capable of like aerial awareness. And, you know, I still, you know, can do some flips and stuff on like trampoline, but my aerial awareness just wasn't quite there, and I kind of missed like the community factor of like yoga, and I started to look into more of the partner stretching and partner stuff, and then I like kind of discovered a little bit of acro yoga. I was involved with some martial arts at the time too as well, but then I think acro yoga just like kind of broke that barrier between like a lot of people that we kind of find ourselves in nowadays, and everyone just being kind of closed off, not wanting to like really communicate or like get too close or whatever to people. And it's interesting because as you start to study yourself a little bit more, you start to figure out who you truly are. And one of the I took like the love language quiz or whatever, and one of my love languages that was missing was like the love language of touch, and that's how we communicate, right? We communicate with either touch, gifts, verbal, and there's like 4 or 5 others. But I think because like I was driven to acro, I think it was just kind of one of those things. Okay, well, this is what I was missing. It's that like key element that like I think even a lot of people that find themselves in this space are just kind of missing, that community, that sense of being close and working with one another, but just kind of a physical activity wise, right? A lot of our sports are just like more competitive, and we find ourselves not to really bond with each other well, or like maybe like high fives and that's it. But here it's like hugs. We have to get used to people like touching each other, this and that, and we have to really be open with it. We have to be open with ourselves. We have to be comfortable with ourselves. So that's the barrier that it kind of like breaks down, and realization that you kind of have to have with some of this stuff too. And one of the things that we always talk about when going into class is that we're not there to prove anything to anyone. We're not there to so I have nothing to prove. I have everything to share. And there was like one other line, I can't remember right now. But yeah, that like all with that being said, we are there for each other, and as much as possibly as we can be. Obviously everyone has their own lives to live, right? And we have to respect that, and that's just something that comes with being friends with anyone. Everyone's on their own path and purpose, so we have to figure out where we need to give people space, where we're allowed to be in someone's life as well, and how much do they want us in their life. What is it okay to have that closeness, and for the most part, like I've always been a very like social butterfly kind of person as well too, but we get a lot of introverts in here. We get a lot of people that are introverted, and we kind of have to get them to open up with us a little bit too, because a lot of us are very high energy in the community and in the groups, and we are there to want to make sure people feel comfortable with each other, and that they can communicate with us as best as possible, right? Communication is key when it comes to this. So we like to circle up. We do circle up, and we do some partner stretching in our big circle. And there's actually a book that I like discovered not too long ago. Oh, sorry, I'm like not even talking about what's going on in the video, but to be honest, like like the flyer I'm flying with, like we're literally like nailing every single move like as we hit it. So I feel like there's not much like critiquing that has to happen here anyways, but it looks like we're getting ready for a monkey frog roll here as well. So monkey frog is where you start in a back bend, and then or you start in reverse throne, and then they waterfall and then the flyer comes to the shoulders, and then I bring my feet underneath the thighs, they bring their knees to their elbows, and then we continue the roll back into reverse throne. So let's see if we can pull this off. Oh, no, not quite. So almost had it there, but the flyer has to kind of crunch here, and I think I've kind of gone over this one in some of the previous videos as well. But yeah, like you can't get every move the first time, but we do like to like circle up afterwards, and maybe do a little bit of time massage. But time massage is like one of those like it's a missing art piece, I believe. It really is, and that's just one thing that I feel like if you don't like, it's one that's like not practiced a lot, but dude, there's so much benefit in it, and I really want to like start practicing it quite a bit more. So some of the videos that I bring out might have to be time massage videos for sure, because I think that is a key element that we are kind of missing. And sometimes I like to close down a session with some time massage. I usually begin with partner stretching, and there's probably some videos I have that include the partner stretching as well. But most of the time when I am recording, it's because like we're already warmed up, we're like going over a move that we know that we got down. We almost got it there. So the knees just need to be more in, and then she has to push through my wrist as we go up into that reverse throne once again. So she's going to come back into her back bend, her reverse throne, and then she's going to back bend, go to that shoulder stand, and then from the shoulder stand go back to that reverse throne position. So I think maybe someone's giving her some pointers here or something on it. But yeah, y'all, I hope y'all are liking these videos. Like I said, I just feel like acro yoga is gonna be like one of those evergreen kind of like content video like you can come learn here if you want or whatever. So we'll get better at the editing and stuff. I'm still trying to figure out like what the best way is to upload right now, like if I should edit it on my iPhone first and then send it over here, or do all the editing on the computer and then upload it straight from the computer. It does seem like it's a little bit easier to just upload it straight from the computer once I've edited it on the computer as well. And here we finally get it down. Perfect. Good job. So as soon as they push back up into that reverse throne, the flyer needs to wrap their feet behind, which is a very key important part too. So yeah, look forward to some more videos coming in the future, especially more higher quality production videos for sure. Looks like we're gonna try and run through that one again.